Okay, another weekly update of the option income, selling cash secured puts and cover calls. Each week I post a video updating the trades I made and how much we made. So if you're new to the channel, it'd be nice if you would subscribe. It's optional, obviously. So more important than that, it's not financial advice right down here. So the trades I'm making, the things I do, it's just what we do with our money, and we like to share because I actually think selling cash secured puts and cover calls is a great way to make some extra money. If you have money saved or money in your retirement, I have several videos on how to make a trade and how to do things. I also got a series of videos that basically is like an ebook, goes through how to do this if you're a very beginner. I've never done this before. And before I go any further, I just want to make sure people know that selling options and buying options are not the same thing. Buying options, in my opinion, is where people lose money. Selling options, it's very hard to lose money, in my opinion, and the opinion of a lot of other people too. So let's take a look and see how things went this week. So keep everybody from dying of suspense. So for the week from 216 to 220 is right here. And actually, I have one extra on this week because I was actually assigned this cash secured put here last week, but I didn't realize it or see it, so it wasn't included in the week before. So I included it in this week. So that was from last Friday. But this week from the 17th to the 20th are the trades I made here. And if I highlight this over here, this is the profits and losses from each trade. You see that we're at $2,486 for the week. So that is pretty good. I'll take that. And let's go ahead and see what we did for the whole month so far. So 3 weeks so far in February. February is kind of neat because the weeks are ending exactly within the month. 4 weeks equals 1 month. So I highlighted all these here. 6111 so far for February. And my goal is $5,000 a month doing this to supplement our retirement income. And if you've been following these, some months I make 10, 12, I think all the way up to 15,000. But when the market is moving in just the right ways, I'm able to get in and out of trades a couple of different times where typically I would just hold it for the entire time. Might sound kind of complicated, but I'm able to sometimes double up on the amount of premium I'm getting when things are moving to my favor. Hard to explain. Anyhow, let's keep moving on. So I mentioned that this BITX, I was assigned that early, actually. The original expiration date wasn't until March 20th, and I had 2 cash secured puts, and whoever took assignment early only took one of the contracts. So I still have one of the contracts down here, actually, that's still open. So this one's still doing its thing and traveling along. So we'll see how that turns out. I had a cover call here on SoFi that I closed early and made $40. And then I had TQQQ, which I guess what I should have did, if I would have waited another day, TQQQ did go up a little bit and I could have closed this and made a profit. But what I decided to do is just go ahead and roll this out for another week. So I basically, when you roll a trade, you're closing one and opening up another one. So I did that, and actually down here, I rolled it to an expiration date of the 27th, and TQQQ went up a little bit, and I decided that's today, I actually went ahead and closed it today and collected $417. So if I take these two and combine them together, from rolling this trade and then closing it, I did make $153 when you combine those. So that's how I kind of look at those when I roll a trade, that is. So that turned out okay. My NVIDIA, so this is actually NVDL. It's the double leverage based on NVIDIA. I sold a cash secured put on this last Thursday, I believe, with the 20th expiration date, and I closed that early and collected $685. And then I went ahead and sold another cash secured put on the same thing, but this time I lowered the strike price down to 80 instead of 82. And I kept that just one day and then profited $125. And then later that day down here, I actually sold another cash secured put, but I moved the expiration date out till next Friday, which is what I typically do, and collected more premium. So if that one goes to zero, I will collect $1,500. That's some pretty good premium on that one. I really don't know why the premium was so high. but I'll take it. And already I'm looking today, it was up already $600 in the green. So I'll take that too. And then I was assigned some shares of Affirm, 2 contracts, so 200 shares, and I went ahead and sold a cash secured put on that and collected 52. And I went ahead and closed that, and then I rolled that forward a week. So the original expiration date was for the 27th, and I rolled it forward 1 week down here, collected about the same amount of premium. So if that goes to zero, I'll collect like another $82, but I'll probably close it early. And then let's see, that TQQQ, we talked about that one. The AMZU, so that went ahead and went to zero, the contract. So I was assigned 500 shares of AMZU. So now what I did, I anticipated that happening because the price of Amazon went way down. So this is the double leverage of Amazon. And I think today it is at like 27 or 28. What I did about a week ago, I bought 300 shares of this when it was down to 25 or maybe 24 something. I got 800 shares now. So when you figure in the total, so I ended up with a basis of like $31 when you figure out what I paid for it today, the 35, and then also the 300 shares at 25. So what I wanted to do is lower my basis down, which I did to 31. So now that my basis is 31, I sold a cover call with 32 strike price, collected this in premium. So if this goes to zero, I will collect $440. Expiration date is on the 20th of March. I knew that cash secured put wasn't going to turn out great. And when that price was so low, I went ahead and, like I said, bought 300 more shares of it because I really think Amazon's going to come back and I'm not really afraid of the double leverage. So that should turn out okay. And then Lyft here, kind of the same thing. I was expecting to get assigned 200 shares. I had 2 contracts here of Lyft. So that went all the way down to zero, and I got assigned. I actually got assigned early in a couple of these. So the expiration was today, but when I woke up this morning, I was already assigned. So I collected the 166, the whole amount here. And what I did for this one about a week ago, I bought another 100 shares of Lyft for like $13. It might have been 12 something a share. So now I have 300 shares of Lyft. And so my basis, instead of being 17, which was the strike price, my basis is like 1477, I think it was. And this might change a little bit. That's kind of an estimate. But then I turned around and I sold a cover call on Lyft, 3 contracts with a 15 strike price and collected 34 cents in premium. So if that goes to zero, I will collect $100. And that's not much, but it's better than a kick in the head. And actually, if I go to this option calculator that I got here, so strike price was 15, 3 contracts, premiums 34, 30 days expiration. So that will actually end up being a 27% return. So even though when you glance at it, it's like 34 cents, it doesn't look like much, but it's actually a pretty good return when you annualize it. So that's what I look at. And hopefully Lyft goes up and I get those shares taken away and I can go back to doing cash secured puts. Okay, so that covers all the trades that I closed for the week. And looking forward, I got the NVDL, which should be pretty good. I have 3 contracts, TQQQ, and that got a lot of stuff that's going to expire on the 20th of March. So I expect another halfway decent week next week. So next week will be the end of February. So I've already done over the 5,000, which is my goal for each month. And I'm at 6,100 for the month. So if you add another 1,500 to that, it'd be like 7,500. That's probably what I'll end up with next week, maybe. So we'll see how that goes. And so you can see all the trades I have currently open and the expiration dates here. See the strike prices and the premium, how many contracts, and all that good stuff. So we are going to be doing a little traveling here in the next couple of weeks on a road trip, and I won't have internet probably every single day. So probably Monday, maybe not. I may roll some of these trades out for a few weeks farther, so I don't have to watch them as close. I don't really want anything expiring if I'm not around to keep an eye on it. It depends. I usually don't trade as heavy when I'm traveling. I try to keep things more simple. Try to keep the deltas lower and expiration dates further out. But like I said, it all depends if I have internet or not. So I keep an eye on things. So that wraps up everything. Pretty good week. Like I said, even though I've been assigned quite a few things, I'm just turning around writing cover calls on things. And how many cover calls I got right now? If I count these up, I got 6, 7, 8 cover calls and about maybe 10 cash record puts out there right now. So basically, the wheel is spinning around and it's all part of the process. So that should wrap it up. Remember, don't forget to subscribe, and also remember this is not financial advice, it's to entertain and for education purposes. The video next week might not be on Friday, it might come out on Saturday or Sunday, depending on where we're at and if I have internet and all that other good stuff. So, but I will put out another video next week on another update of the income. So see you in the next video.